So my next guaranteed story comes to poor old State Line, now Prim. When they had just finished, they put up Buffalo Bills. I'm actually might not get to all these stories, but there's quite a few of them. So we're at Buffalo Bills, and we're planning on staying. So they had the roller coaster there that was like the biggest drop or whatever the case is. So we're out there to experience the roller coaster and sort of stay. And so, we got our room and, we were leaving our stuff there. We come down to the floor of the casino. And so we're looking for the Keno Lounge. And no one could point us to no one seemed to know where the hell the Keno Lounge was. It was kind of the weirdest thing. Finally, we ran into this change person and like, yeah, just follow this wall around and keep going, whatever. By this time, I was done with that. I didn't want to have anything to do with Keno. That's not true. I played some other Keno machine. Didn't have to go to the lounge kind of thing. And then my friend just kept going, whatever. So I don't come across my friend. He's doing his own thing. I'm doing my own thing. And then eventually he comes back to me and he's like, dude, no one can help me. I'm getting lost. This place is so confusing. I don't know what to do. It's just so ridiculous. Well, anyways, so we ended up the next day. So nothing happens. We're just hanging out. I don't even hear about anything. The very next day I get this knock on this door out my room. So I'm in my room. I get the knock on the door. I open the door. There's a supervisor there and my friend. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what happened? What happened? What's going on? Because it's kind of early. It's like 9 o'clock in the morning. And the supervisor, it's actually a pit manager, not just like a clerk or some kind of pit manager was the thing. It was this guy. And he's like, I'm here to escort you, sir. I'm here to escort you through the casino. So apparently, my friend had complained that no one was able to provide directions correctly and no one knew where anything was. And he was very confused. He was experiencing a bit of vertigo. He was out of sorts. And so Buffalo Bills, being customer service focused, they actually called the pit and had a pit manager because we were going to go to breakfast. So apparently, unbeknownst to me, the pit manager says, so he says, well, I'm like, what the, okay, you're here to escort me? He's like, well, we know you want to go to eat breakfast and I want to make sure you guys don't get lost. I mean, with a straight face, this guy is literally looking at me and I'm like, holy crap, are you kidding me? Because at this point, I'm a little embarrassed. Like, ridiculous. A pit manager, because I'm in gaming. Like, I know, dude, pit manager is sent to my door at my room to escort me down so I don't get lost on the way to breakfast. I mean, holy crap. If you know more, so my friend, this goes on and on. I could tell you stories that you just literally won't believe. It's unbelievable. But he doesn't accept no, and he's like, so the way he puts it out there, he's just like, I bet he was like, he probably almost in tears. He got lost and oh my God, he's gonna be a hazard to the casino and it's gonna ruin his vacation and he's gonna have to cry to his mother and it just goes on. And then the next thing you know, they send a pit manager to my door to escort me to breakfast. By the way, it worked out kind of nice because we got breakfast for free and they've stuck us in an area where of course we wouldn't get lost getting around to the thing. And after that, they were very attentive. They were like, the guy comes up to us after, he's like, excuse me, sir, where do you guys intend to play after this? We want to make sure you don't get lost on the way. This went on for a while until the point where it got a little bit ridiculous. And I'm like, dude, this is silly, man. We're going to have a guy escorting us, but of course we got the rooms for free too. So there's not too much I can play with there. You know what I mean? That's kind of a thing. All right, so I have another story. I think I'm gonna run out of time, but I might finish this up a little bit. So the last story I have is here in Vegas. There's an Olive Garden. So one day we go to this Olive Garden. And by the way, shout out to Olive Garden. Love Olive Garden. Fantastic, okay? Love the whole tour of Italy thing. Love Olive Garden. Anyway, so we end up at this Olive Garden. I don't want to tell you which one because I don't want to point, because it was only a once in a lifetime thing. So we go into this Olive Garden and basically we hear someone crying as we're walking in. And we go up there and there's literally a guy. And so they had just remodeled. So in the very middle where they have sort of the bar, there's a few seats there. You can have some drinks before you settle on you get a table on one side. And there was a cook on the floor and he was crying. And of course, the cook's on the floor, he's crying. We're still waiting for anybody to host this, because I'm sure they're dealing with something, apparently, because the guy, he's the cook. You could tell he's a cook, he's in all his cook stuff, and he's literally bawling his eyes out, sitting on the floor, crying in this lounge area, bawling his eyes out, by the way. So I'm sitting there with my friend, and he's like, well, do you really want to eat here? And he's like, well, it's gonna be free. I'm like, well, it's gonna be free. What do you mean it's gonna be free? He's like, the guy's sitting there crying, he's bawling his eyes out, he's the cook. Of course it's gonna be free. And I'm like, dude, how do you know it's gonna be free? And he's like, cause he's sitting there crying, bawling his eyes out. The lady comes, my friend has a conversation. He's like, listen, the quality is just not gonna be there, right? Because now you're down a cook, morale's poor, you're working on getting your kitchen together, you're trying to figure stuff out. We don't even know if the service is gonna be up to par because you got this, and now we gotta listen to this guy crying while we're eating. I mean, you know what I mean? It's gonna, you're gonna have to like cut us a little slack. Of course, this is while she's sitting us, and we sit down, she comes back and she's like, yes, sir. Dinner's on us. Love that Olive Garden, fantastic. Crying chefs all the way. Give me all your crying chefs. Tears in the food kind of thing, fantastic. What a flavor, right? No, that's terrible. That's terrible. Anyways, one of the other places we used to go to back in the day but before Casablanca was Casablanca, it was a Players. So when they opened that up, that was another place that had just guaranteed. They had a sign in the flipping cafe. It was a really interesting, like half buffet, half cafe kind of thing. They had these little serving stations there. Remember, you could get pasta, like a Mongolian barbecue type of thing. But it wasn't like a full-on buffet because they had a menu and you could order stuff to your table. I worked for Players at one point. So when it was a Merv Griffin type of thing. And so we didn't go there to take advantage of it. I already had friends of mine. I had the rooms for free, all that stuff. I had to pay to eat though. You know what I mean? I mean, God forbid. My friend, man, he knew how to work every angle. And so, of course, they come out with the pasta. And let me tell you, pasta with spaghetti. So it wasn't pasta actually. It was supposed to be an Oriental dish. It was supposed to be lo mein, and instead they used like spaghetti noodles. And so he was not happy about the spaghetti noodles. He's like, dude, that's not lo mein. We gotta let him know. And I'm like, yeah, but it tastes fine. He's like, yeah, but it doesn't look right. And I'm like, well, but it tastes fine. So if it tastes fine, it tastes like lo mein. Like, how can we really complain about it? He's like, yeah, because it doesn't have the authentic, sort of Chinese look to it. Like the dish just doesn't look right. And I'm like, well, maybe it's someone else in back cooking it. Maybe they thought of a new way to make this recipe. He's like, what do you mean there's a new way? This is a 1,000-year-old dish. There's no new way. This is supposed to be lo mein. You can't use spaghetti noodles for lo mein. That's like a sin. We gotta let them know. It's gotta be free. And so sure enough, the lady comes to the table and he's like, listen, what's going on here with these noodles? And she's like, well, what do you mean, sir? And he's like, well, they're spaghetti noodles. Yeah, but does it taste good? And I'm like, yeah, it tastes fantastic. I love it. And he's like, well, that's not the point. The point is, it's not authentic Chinese. It says on your menu, authentic Chinese food. And then of course you look back and it's probably not a Chinese guy. He's like, listen, that guy does not look authentic Chinese to me. So how do you claim it's authentic Chinese and you're using spaghetti noodles? She literally is like, me and her are sitting there. I'm literally looking up at this waitress and going, yeah, but it really does taste good. I'm very happy with it. So I'm looking at these noodles. It's supposed to be pasta. It's not. It's pasta lo mein, but I love pasta with lo mein sauce. Like what the hell? Like I'm not even complaining. But my friend just can't stand the fact that doesn't look authentic, doesn't look like actual lo mein noodles. And what does he know about lo mein noodles? He's some white kid. He knows nothing about lo mein noodles. Like all of a sudden he's the authority on authentic Chinese. How did that become a thing? By the way, this went on for quite a while actually. He actually got up at one point. They actually had on their buffet what they called lo mein noodles. And for some reason, the noodles I ordered from the kitchen were literally, they did look like spaghetti noodles. I mean, they really did. So it was literally like spaghetti noodles with some vegetables and chicken and some like lo mein sauce. That's really what it was. And that's perfect. So my friend gets up and he's at the Mongolian barbecue and they have the lo mein noodles and they look like lo mein noodles. If anything, like now I'm almost like, okay, maybe he's right. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he's right. We got this all figured out. This woman is beside herself. She keeps asking me if I liked it. And I was like, dude, I love the noodles. That's fantastic. Please don't tell the chef I didn't like the noodles. I don't need him coming out and giving me a bunch of crap. And that's happened before. My friend has actually complained to the point where a chef has come out. And for those of you who don't know, so anyways, we got the meal for comp. Let's get past the meal here, okay? So yes, no lo mein, no authentic noodles. It looked like spaghetti with lo mein sauce, which I was happy with, but ultimately we got it for free. If you guys don't know my other story about the steak, oh God, steak.